like don't give you as much shit potentially, or I don't know. They're
You
more likely
mean
to use you. I think that they see that you look more valuable. I don't know. It's like the kind of like the I think you've commented on the past and got shit when people put like available for work on their LinkedIn banner because it gives like a sense of like neediness, I suppose. Or it's the same thing in like dating and relationships. Like being too available is like not a good thing, unfortunately, in our society.
right. Yeah. So yeah, we were just talking about how like we we saw one of Kelsey's posts who is not with us today, not joining us today on the live, but yeah, she had posted about how she had turned down a client, and it was, I think it ended up being something where the guy wanted his daughter to build a brand on maybe LinkedIn or something. But one of the biggest problems that she kind of like, noted as a red flag was that the daughter herself didn't really want to actually do it. Right? Is that
Yeah,
what you read?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah,
I got to that point and then I got busy with something else. So, but yeah, if you compare that with like something like the open to work badge on the other side of the spectrum there, yeah, I would say that yeah, the mentioning that you've turned down clients is the exact opposite. It's kind of like it's a positioning thing, right? And
yep,
also, it shows that you won't just work with anybody, which, believe it or not, probably makes a prospect feel, all right, well, do I qualify? Like, do I qualify to work with this person? And if they'll turn someone away, then they must have a very specific criteria as to who they'll work with. So you get taken more seriously.
yeah. I think it makes you look more valuable. I know, like, I don't know, there's tattoo artists, for example, that have like years waiting list or 2 years waiting list, and you're like, I can't even get tattooed by this person if I wanted to, and it makes you kind of like chase it and want it more because they've positioned themselves in like this higher status thing. I've never really cared for status or whatever, but I think that you definitely should use it to your advantage when you can. Like, I don't know, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I think it is pretty smart because like it's a real thing whether you want to uh like deny it or not,
Hmm.
or believe it or not, right? And like, yeah, if we look at something like LinkedIn, right, I think that there's so many people who don't see the open to work badge as something that potentially does make you look a little more desperate. I'm not the only one who believes that, by the way. Ever since I said that, I feel, well, I feel like I see posts like that now all the time. I don't know if I started it, but yeah, yeah, I think it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, I saw another one that you posted this week too that you're talking about liking your own post, which I thought was funny. And I think it's cool just as long as you're willing to defend your position, and you are. I think a lot of people would probably waver and be like, you know what, I don't know. But I think that like just as long as you make a point and you have the side, like who gives a shit, right? I mean, if you want to like your post, like your post. But it's funny that people actually get upset. That's
Yeah.
the funny
So what I was doing, what I was doing with that one is I saw this woman uh,
thing.
who she was going like she was like losing it over people like liking their own posts. Like her post was like so unnecessarily aggressive for something where it's like, bro, like this is so um
Playful, stupid.
is the word frivolous?
Yeah, totally.
Like just, yeah, just totally like
I,
it just doesn't matter, right? Like this
yeah,
is the kind of thing that you really should be very like apathetic about, right? But she's there losing her mind in this post, right? And I first of all repost and I wrote, I'm going to like my post more after reading this. In fact, I think I'll celebrate them, right? Uh, and then so
spice
then
it up a little
and
more.
then she eventually realized that I had reposted her post, and by this point, she was like seemed to be going off in the comments even more. maybe she was wondering where the added attention was coming from. I feel like some of it probably came from my repost, right? Um, and then
That's
and then
fun.
she started calling me into her comment section, right? Because interestingly, she didn't call me into her comment section because of the repost. She saw that I liked a few of the people's comments in her comment section who were kind of like, why are you getting so worked up about this? If people want to like the post, cool. If they don't, that's fine too. Like I don't, you know,
Good.
and they didn't say this part, but like, why is this the hill that you're choosing to die on or whatever, right? Which ended up being my thing like later on. But anyway, I liked a few of her comments. And when she saw that I'd liked a few of her comments, I didn't even comment myself. She's like, Mike Bolton. She tagged me like in the comment like thread or something like Mike Bolton. Do you have anything to say about this, or you just want to stalk my account? It's like, are you are you are you fucking kidding me? Stalking your account. I I came by and reposted your post. You should be thankful I even did that. You're welcome for the added traction.
So funny.
Um, but anyway, I then she ended up taking down the whole thing, and I'm like, yeah, this is something actually worth writing about. Like, just because the line came to me, people choose some weird hills to die on, or some
Oh yeah,
strange hills to die on. I'm like, yeah,
that's a good line because I agree with that. I think it's so true. People get upset over the stupidest shit.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna make a post of this, and I'm sure, honestly, if I was to look at my analytics, that was probably yet another post that did about 20,000 impressions.
Jesus. I wonder,
Yeah,
like, I have a question for you. So, like, I know that this satire shit works, obviously, and it's fucking and it's fun, right? So like, and you're really good at it. But I'm curious, like, if that is the play or part of the play, I guess, like, the people, are you going to do the same thing for clients, I suppose, too, or is that what they want, or how do you repeat that if that's not what they want, I suppose,
okay.
or you find people that want that, I think.
So good. I have a very good like recent example. Um, I got a client right now actually, who is in AI, and this was a client I landed recently as well. Which like, oh, by the way, uh, I'm starting to get like
starting
I'm
to
starting to get like
starting to get
booked
like
sales calls
sales calls.
and this. Oh, I'm echoing back. Booked sales calls, landing more clients, and all that. It's partially because of this LinkedIn strategy,
I know
which
it's working. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
probably is pretty counterintuitive for people because like everybody on the LinkedIn timeline, I see it. One of the most recycled takes I've ever seen is like, uh, oh, you don't need a million impressions to book clients. Well, that might be true, right? But I think it's very easy for people to then get it misconstrued where they're like, great, I don't even need traffic. I'll just
Right.
write posts in any way, shape, or form because likes ain't cash. So I can just like basically do whatever I want. And as long as it's like makes me like, it positions me as an expert or something, I'm good. But, and then they kind of secretly, either openly or secretly, are kind of pissed off because they're getting like 500 impressions a post or something like this. Right. So
Right.
I'd rather just go like the opposite way of front end loading like a ton of traffic.
Like top
But
of funnel.
my approach, there's two things I kind of disagree with because it's based off my personal experience. Is like I would rather have a big brand personally than a small brand, and I would rather have a ton of traffic than a very minimal amount of traffic. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like my strategy is like, let's blow this out of the water, get a ton of traffic, get a ton of followers. Everything will be easier. I'll have like automatic like social proof because of the larger following, more traffic, more eyeballs on my stuff. That's how I like to do it.
Yeah.
I I don't like being the guy with 500 followers cold DMing Fortune 500 CEOs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I get it. I think getting the traffic for sure. And then I guess if you're doing the actual content for them, though, is part of your thing going to be funny stuff, or do they have to fit into that mold? I suppose, or
Yeah, thanks for bringing us back to that, because that's where I was going to go. So this recent like AI founder client that I got, he you know what? Actually, it's good because like Ahad, obviously,
yeah.
this guy basically does what Ahad does,
Oh, cool. 5
except
people.
that he's just already kind of like really worked himself into that industry. Like he's already doing like AI solutions for enterprise clients, right? This particular client of mine. Now, for this guy, writing controversial content is not going to be a problem.
Oh, hell yeah, he's right up your alley.
Yeah,
So he magnetized himself to you.
Yeah, and this is probably how he found me, by the way. And I can write about AI. Now, here's the thing. I can actually write about both sides of AI. That's the thing that people might not have expected. It's because I understand
What's up, Ahad?
the debate so much. Like, oh, look who it is. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Yeah, we're talking about the perfect thing, right? Yeah, this client of mine that is basically an AI solutions. Now, the thing is, the content I'm writing for this client is actually very pro AI. Where normally, like for my own personally branded content on LinkedIn, I sometimes go, yeah. I think I saw that post, and I saw that you talked about Pangram, and then I ran some of my posts through Pangram, and I wrote a post about that.
What's Pangram?
And I dropped your name, by the way, Ahad, in the post. Just that you'd recommended Pangram, that is more accurate and stuff. What did you ask?
What is Pangram? Yeah, I'm not
It's like this AI detector that, well, at least from what I saw from it, seems pretty accurate. Because I took
like, if it's AI written or what?
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Substack apparently like signed up with them. I don't know all the details of it, but like I think it's going to be something. I'm sure Ahad could explain, but it's going to be something where like almost with the click of a button, it will tell you if someone's post was like AI written, or at least under what it would consider to be AI written.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what I did is I took 3 of my posts, also ones that I know are like my typical style these days is to like just full transparency. I'll rattle something off completely off the top of my head or whatever. Usually not even in a voice clip these days. I kind of got back into just like writing it out in a Google Doc or something. And I kind of use then my next step from there is I do run it through ChatGPT. I start with just a strict spelling and grammar check. I'm like, do not change anything here, or I will cancel my subscription. Don't change a fucking thing here. I run it through. I get a kind of like a cleaned up version of it. Like not like a lot of time, there might be like one small mistake or something like this, maybe. And then I'll ask it like, what do you think? What do you think about this post? Right? I want to get its feedback as to like what it thinks, and I might bounce some ideas back and forth. Right? Like, do you think that I go off my own assumptions and stuff? Do you think you feel like the hook could be a little better here, or it might start giving me some feedback on it, and sometimes I'll push back on it. Well, here's why I did that. So I basically just fight with ChatGPT for 2 minutes, and then usually by that point I've got something like really solid, and then that's kind of my process. So when you write like that, you're not going to trigger the AI detectors, because that's not really writing with it like AI. It's like every sentence, every part of that was like you. I use AI, at least especially for my personal brand stuff, as minimal as possible, right? I want my voice to come through and stuff, right? So then I went to LinkedIn. I'm like, there's a ghostwriter I know, okay, and I'm like 99.999% sure that this guy he writes his stuff with AI, and he doesn't. It feels like he doesn't do much more with it beyond that, right? So I grab just one of his posts. I'm like, yeah, this one seems pretty AI written. Boom, grab it into Pangram. It's like 100% AI written. So all three of mine were like 100% human written. And then it's like this one, it's like 100% AI written, and it might have then sometimes it highlights certain sections where it's like this part right here is definitely like AI written. Like it's like, it's 100% AI written. This part here, maybe it's like an 80% or something like that. I think it also goes like that, kind of breaks it down. Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, with this AI client of mine, I've been taking the other side of the argument. For example, one of the things that he said is that like, and this is not real. This is not. Once I say it, you'll be like, yeah, that's not really how Mike thinks. One of his theories is that like all those kind of boring jobs, and I kind of know where he's coming from. It's like all those boring jobs, like literally think about somebody whose job it is to find like case numbers or something like this, and like go in and find case numbers and then like attach them to the right into a field in Excel or something, like,
Data
that's
entry job.
yeah, just like data entry or very menial type tasks, right? Like their entire job, it just because of the way that the company has fallen into a bad habit or whatever, they just don't even think about it, is to go in and get case numbers and attach them to the right document. That's their entire job. Okay. Well, most people would probably argue that like nobody was born to do that job in some way, shape, or form. Like we all need jobs and stuff, but like their dream job when they were a child was not like, oh, I just can't wait to get into the workforce and attach case numbers to documents, right? Everybody would pretty much agree on that, right?
Yeah.
But so many people do those tasks, right? And the thing about AI, and this is interesting because it's pretty like it's kind
of, yeah,
it's
right
hard
up
to
his alley.
it's hard to argue about, right? But like, so yeah, like, you imagine that this is someone's job, and it's like something that my client does is like in particular, and it seems to be where the biggest opportunity sometimes lies with AI is like get it to do the fucking boring shit, the
Absolutely.
boring tasks, like go in and find every email, every this and that, every case number, and attach it to and then like attach it to the right documents and stuff like this. Like that's those are like the menial boring tasks and stuff. And part of one of the most polarizing things that my client kind of like believed for this particular post is that if we choose to keep these types of jobs, are we actually like slowing down our like evolution, right? And in order to evolve, we may need to let go of we may need to intentionally let go of some of these jobs, right? So I basically, in writing his content, took the complete opposite side of the argument that some people actually need to maybe there are some jobs that we do need to lose. Okay. So if you understand the argument, you could take either side of it. So that's what I'm doing now for this.
I get it. I think that like every major technology, like the internet, caused and created new jobs. And I think that like even with like autonomous truck driving or autonomous robo taxis, we see those everywhere now. Like the Waymos are everywhere in LA. And apparently they're safer than like humans driving because they don't get distracted. They learn the machine learning algorithm by training on left turn, right turn, all the different variables, and it's a machine, so it's not going to not pay attention. It's going to be a lot smarter than a human. I could see that, like, I don't know, a fleet of truck drivers, they already have like autonomous trucks, but imagine like it's like one person looking over 10 trucks, like in like a remote room or something like that, to like make sure that everything is going right. So like at the end of the day, I think stuff's going to change and value creation is going to come out of nowhere that we don't even know. Like right now, we're like in the AI revolution, which was started by the web, the early 2000s, the .com thing. But now it's like, I think that to some sort of degree, I think that's right. I think that even like a lot of junior engineers, it was a lot easier for junior engineers to get jobs back in the day, like 10 years ago, like software engineers. But now even the junior engineers, you could vibe code stuff like Ahad does. So like now even that industry is getting disrupted to the point where it even took something like 40% off Salesforce's market cap for like a year because they said that Salesforce, Adobe, all these companies are going to get destroyed because these AI agents and these AI things are going to be able to do whatever these software subscriptions have been able to do to kill their moat or whatever. So it's a full on thing happening right now, like in the real world. So it's pretty fascinating to see how quickly it's changing. But I think it's just about, I don't know. I always looked at like knowledge worker. I think Peter Drucker said back in the day something about like knowledge worker. I think just as long as you are a knowledge worker and you combine enough skill sets together, like you have like writing, like branding, anything to do with writing into like different things, I think that will always be fine. And then finding those people, and it's good that you have that audience too. So like, I don't know. As I get older, I just look at like, how do I build as many assets as possible and have my money like create more wealth and more money essentially, or store value. I was actually talking to my buddy last night, the one that's like basically retired at, like in his 40s, and he like lives basically in Europe, owns a house in LA, and doesn't really need to work anymore. He actually works for some company called ICANN. They manage like the internet domains. He's a smart dude. He's got like multiple degrees, whatever, computer science, and he's also like engineering background. But he basically said, look at your like savings as, don't put like, it made me think, because I have like money in my Amex savings account, which is like my like kind of like base, and then I have my investments in crypto and in equities and land and things like that and real estate. But what he made me realize is like I'm only getting like 4% interest like in an Amex account, whereas like if I sit it in the S&P 500, like it's not guaranteed, but most likely going to get like a 10% return. But you want to hold it over a year so your capital gains is less or whatever. But to me, I'm like, if you leave it in there with even a chance of getting more return, I don't know. That's the way I'm starting to look at things. Like the quicker, you don't need, like you saw it actually, I think I mentioned this last week, that there's multiple Costco workers that have made $20, $30 an hour that have 7-figure like 401ks. So what that tells you is that you don't necessarily need to make, like if you're making like the kind of money that you were making, like the $10,000, $20,000 a month or whatever, imagine you stick as much as that as you can into like a market, because the compounding interest over time, it's the compounding part that's like the most important part. If you got
that's
like
also why the most important part of making money is the consistency. Yeah. And that's why you're talking about like just somebody from Costco who ends up being a millionaire. Well, the one thing they have, like, listen, even the Costco employee, and like this is going to be like entrepreneurs are not going to want to hear this next part. The Costco employee, all right, making $40 an hour, whatever you said, okay, which I am a little surprised to hear that a Costco employee even makes $40 an hour. I don't know what type of Costco employee are we talking about?
Like 20 or 30 bucks. They might make like 25. I don't know, but I think it's mainly the compounding part. Like, and usually the compounding doesn't happen like year 1 through 5, it might be a little, but year 10, it gets bigger. Year 15, it's like those later years. Like the reason why my friend has so much money now is because he's been investing, like, and he's had a job for the last 20 years, good jobs for 20 years. And he's been investing it because his dad told him, like, dude, like the only way you're going to get ahead is if like you invest. And like, that was what was interesting. Cause I was like, now I'm like, fuck you bastard. And you could start seeing like too, like when like Google like had like a 7% dip yesterday because of like oil prices shot up to like $100 a barrel, and it caused all this turmoil in the markets or whatever. So if you have money and you could see these things happening, like Tesla dipped like 13% yesterday. So like if like you want like exposure to these things and you have like dry powder, it's kind of easy to sit back and be like, all right, like that's the deal right now, I'll buy that, and then accumulate in like these times of fear or whatever. But because to me, like at the end of the day, I don't want to work. I want to like, you could theoretically have enough dividends to support yourself if you have enough money in the market and then paying you. Like, because to me, I'd rather just kind of do, obviously it's like not a pipe dream. It's more of like, how do I have that consistent income to flush into these investments so that I don't need to work?
Yeah, I like that you're honest about that. Cause like, by the way, like I don't even see that as like, oh, Jeremy doesn't want to work, that means he's lazy. No, it means he's smart. And it means that when he says, I don't want to work, it actually means that like, I'd like to not have to work so I could do more cool shit. Right. which is honestly, it's actually pretty noble, right? It's like, I'd like to not have to work because I can do more cool shit, probably do better things with my money, and maybe make creative shit or like art that actually like betters the world in some way. And even if it just like it makes a couple people more happy or something like this, I think you've done something good there. But yeah, I was gonna say that like the Costco employee making $40 an hour or something, dare I say it, even 30, who just like who works 40 hours a week or something like this, has an advantage over the entrepreneur in a way, especially the more junior entrepreneur or the entrepreneur who, and I mean, every entrepreneur will struggle at some point. So you have the Costco employee has one advantage. It's very predictable, consistent income. And like, if you think about it, the entrepreneur who's like very bootstrapped, whatever, like they might have some months where it's like, I made fucking $22,000. And then they have another month literally where they're making like 5K or something like this. Right. And this is not,
Right.
I'm not making this shit up. This actually happens. Like, your problem is you're all over the place, right? Where the Costco employee who's just funneling,
Consistent.
just taking $200 a month and throwing it into like stocks or something like this and kind of making their money work for them. And they're doing this like clockwork, where the entrepreneur might be like trying to, no, I can't invest into the stock market and stuff because I want to have cash for like coaching programs, business expenses. Plus my business is like kind of up and down right now. So like, I don't know if that's my best area to put my money or something. Time flies by, and like maybe, you know, they never did that, and like they want to have cash for the business and stuff, but until your business becomes an absolute behemoth like machine or something like this, you probably are better to like try and put some amount of money into like the stock market or something like that that's going to like work for you, where you don't have to like think about it. Stock market, crypto, silver, gold, like something, right?
Gold's good too, actually. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about gold, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but they charge us like 30% tax because it's treated as fine art. So like, but although like there's one thing that you could do is like, I don't know if you should look into this in Canada, but in the US, a 401k, or not a 401k, but a Roth IRA, you could put in $7,500 a year up to your 50, and it's like $8,000 a year.
As they might call it a TFSA. In Canada, TFSA. I think they call it a TFSA, and yeah, I think yours is called a Roth IRA.
Yeah. It's basically like anything like, so like I invested $7,500 into mine this year, and I just bet it all on Google. Like they say not to do concentrated bets, but like I'd rather just be concentrated because it went up like 70% this year or something like that. So like imagine like that 7,500 becomes like say 80,000 in 10 years. All that money is tax free. That from the 7,500 to the 80,000, it's all tax free. So imagine like you do that for 10 years and you have like $1 million sitting in that account, and say you invested like 100,000 or whatever, all that money is tax free. So I think that's the other thing, is like realizing that like how much is this dollar worth later on, because like it's sitting there compounding or whatever. Whereas if like you leave it in the regular, like the inflation rate, something like, I think it was 8% at the high. So now it's like 3 or 4%, and I think they're trying to get it down to 2.5% or something like that. So if like you're literally leaving money in your checking account, you're losing money, purchasing power. So like that's the thing that like it wasn't like really. I started looking at things. I'm like, is real estate really that expensive, or is the dollar just gotten like so much, like the purchasing power for the dollar has got fucked up, that's making everything else into like a bubble?
I don't think they're going to slow down the inflation, man. I don't think so. Well,
that's why Bitcoin is such a like that's the, and the other thing that I realized too is that, which is actually really good for us as writers and as people that understand narratives, is that narratives move markets so much of the time, even as much as fundamentals. Like if you look back at the Adobe thing, like Adobe's going to get killed by AI to the point where it dropped like 30% of their business, even though they're like killing it, their numbers, cash flowing, like making a shitload of money. So that tells you that like narratives really run markets. Like a certain fear happens,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everyone starts talking about it, and then it just becomes like the thing. So like I think that part's also interesting.
Yeah, I think there's something called the fear and
Yeah.
greed something or
Greed
other.
index.
Yeah, fear
Fear
and
and greed
greed
index.
index. Yo, man, did we just become a financial show? What is going on? Last week we're talking about real estate. This week we're talking about stocks, fear and greed index. Man, I might as well, like, I don't know which one of us is going to be Dave Ramsey and who wants to be the Warren Buffett, man. But yeah, it's crazy how we can talk about almost like anything under
I
the
love
sun.
Warren Buffett and learning about him. Actually, he's a fascinating man. Apparently, he had a huge position in Coca-Cola in like the early like 90s, 2000s, and it went down by like 30% or something like that. And he had like a shitload of money in it. And imagine like all the dividends happening if you have millions of dollars invested and you're getting dividends back. Like it's crazy to like think about some of the things that these people are doing. But I think at the end of the day, if we're like I think not enough creators are thinking about like how do I'm sure Dakota is and everyone, but like how do you invest your money so that you can just make it work for you to the point where like, hey, like I decide if I need to work or not, like at that point. So like I think that like the idea that money is a solvable problem, and like kind of like how you end up I was really bad with money like in like back, I don't know, my early 20s, to the point where I wish I would have been paying more attention, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I've I have to say I've actually, when I have invested, I've actually done okay. Like
You made 100 grand, you said. Like that was crazy on the crypto market.
well,
How did you
I
feel you
did.
had that? That's
I just didn't sell, right? Yeah, like off of like a 10 or 15K investment, I could have walked away with 100 grand. I just didn't sell the top, and I thought about selling the top. Like I recognized it as like I actually had the thought, I don't think it gets much better than this, man. I remember having that conversation with my buddy Marcello as like, dude, I'm thinking about at least selling like 50 to 60% of this, right? I remember that conversation. That's the part that's so painful, is remembering I actually did think about like selling that. Like I think I thought about selling the entire bag, right? Because I remember saying like, I don't think it gets much better than this, man. I think we've hit like peak euphoria. Like people are kind of losing their mind, and the problem is they're thinking it's going to keep going, right? And they're telling their grandma about it, and now even their grandma is buying some Digibyte.
yeah. That's
um,
bold though, man. You put a $10,000 investment on something like that. That's balls. Yeah, that's like
I think you gotta like I think some of those like riskier investments, as long as you kind of know why you chose a certain stock or coin or whatever, right, can really pan out well. Like those crypto, like those altcoins, like as long as you know that you're not in like a complete shit coin,
yeah.
one thing with crypto is that like the whole halving process in this and the bull run works like almost like clockwork. Like it actually really does work like clockwork. So you
Yeah.
can kind of like time it a little
Time
bit,
it.
man. And as
Yeah.
long as if you get in when the market is red, and like when you're buying those coins really cheap, that's the way to do it. And I think also about that 10 or 15K is I didn't even start with 10 or 15K. I slowly started putting money in and kind of like making profits off of certain altcoins would like run up, and I would sell little chunks of them and put that back into like my overall, as we're talking about, you said like dry powder in this, right? So I'd have like a little cash fund that I was making off like little runs from the altcoins. It's like, oh, okay, nice. I made like an extra $1,000 there. All right, I'll sell off half of this coin or something like this, and I have extra money to reinvest into something. When I see another altcoin is down, another one that I like, it's one of my top picks. Ooh, this one's down 30% today. Let's pour it into that. Boom. And then that's how, by the time I had it into Digibyte, and then Digibyte went and did a 6 or 7x run, that's how I got to like, like 100K off that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing that really made me money in crypto was being able to also think about it more long term. Like with crypto, you don't have to think like 10 years ahead, but just being able to sit on something, buy it, and sit on it for like 6 months with not watching it every single day, like, oh, damn, it's down today, thinking more long term with it. And even when you've got money to invest in stuff, like if the market's down, even buying a little bit more and thinking about it that way, yeah, that works. Not being
Yeah.
so antsy and so what do they call it? Like I don't know. I'm thinking like butter hands or something. If you got like, I think in crypto they used to call it like soft hands or something. If you,
Yeah.
as soon as the market's down, you're like, oh god, I gotta like you panic sell and you sell your entire portfolio.
I look at crypto like right now, we have, I think my prediction, or not prediction, but my understanding is that the next halving, after the halving, you'll have about 12 to 18 months until it peaks. So I'm thinking like 2029 summer is like when crypto market should be peaking. So until then, like I'm really only bullish like on like, I think that there's a ton of cool cryptos out there, but I only hold Solana, Bitcoin, and ETH. That's it. They're pretty much within the top 10. And Bitcoin, as you know, it's like a store of value, even though it's kind of goes up and down or whatever. But like, I leave that aside. I actually had like $500 in profit earlier last week in this bear market. Like I had an average cost of like 63,000, and we just had like a high of around 66,000. So I had like about $500 in profit from the bear market. So my plan though is like I'm not really trying to make money in the bear market, but if I can, cool. Like I'm not selling, but the plan is to keep on accumulating, because you basically have like a floor and a resistance zone, right? So the floor is like 59,000 with Bitcoin, and then the resistance zone that's testing at 66,000. It keeps on hitting it, and then it'll sell off or whatever happens. So like that's kind of like I try to like if I have money like time it so I'm buying closer to the floor. But with like Solana, for example, like I have that staked in Kraken and it's getting like over 5% interest. So like if I have like 100 Solana staked, I'm getting theoretically like 5 extra Solana a year, and then those are just accumulating, sitting there for the bull run. But Solana is actually like a legitimate project, where it's like it's more of like an infrastructure, like where like NFTs and things like this. Well, first of all, they have like a huge developer community, but anytime like NFTs need to be like made, it's like an operating system that basically like it charges a fee for when someone needs to do like a computation on their network. They handle it, it's fast, it's done. They trade it, money exchanges hands for the NFT, goes to one wallet to another wallet, etc. So that's an infrastructure layer. So like that makes a lot of sense to me. It's like a Microsoft of the future, right? ETH was the same exact thing. It was like a computer doing the same exact things, except they had higher compute costs because of the way it was developed. So like Solana was basically like, hey, ETH is like this clumsy way of doing this, although ETH was like the first one to do these smart contracts. So like Solana came in and made throughput way faster. These guys are like really bright engineers. So like those are the reason I'm bullish on those ones. And then also Solana, you could also stake and earn yield. So while I'm sitting there like letting my thing go up in value, it'll also like kind of increase in price. Like it's interesting because I originally bought like ETH, I think at like $2,000, and like right now it's like under $2,000, right? This is like 5 years ago, but at the peak, I think it was like $5,000, $6,000, something along that range. So like it's kind of interesting to see how it's all gone down. But I'm really bullish on Solana. I'm definitely trying to accumulate as much Solana as possible, because I heard that one Solana could be like $1,000 in the future, and it's like $80 now, or $75, 73 maybe this morning. So like yeah, I'm definitely buying Solana, staking it, letting it grow even more. And then I probably plan on exiting that position and then throwing it into like, I don't know, something boring like the S&P. Let's just say I make like $100,000. I would just throw that into the S&P and let that stack. Because apparently after you make $100,000 too, and you have $100,000 invested, the numbers just exponentially get bigger, because you actually have enough skin in the game where you start making actually more compounding.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to like actually do a little research here in terms of like what coins I was some of the coins I was in back in like 2021 and stuff. Theta, Chainlink,
I know
Digibyte,
Chainlink.
Cardano.
I know Cardano.
Yeah.
I've actually seen
Oh,
Charles Hoskinson before at a conference. He's the CEO of Cardano. He's a
yeah.
mathematician from Colorado, but he's legit. What's interesting is that, and Chainlink's they give information to other like cryptos about like things to bring on chain. So like you could build some sort of contract, and the contract might need, let's just say they build a contract where you're in a refrigerated truck and the temperature of the truck goes up by some sort of degrees, which makes the food rotten or whatever. They might have some sort of contract built in where they need to get that temperature from something that would be handled by Chainlink, and then the contract would say like, okay, like send this money here to there. Da, 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 da. I don't know. I look at all that stuff like it's interesting, and I think that like you have to be kind of like an abstract thinker to kind of see some of this stuff into the future. But I actually, what's funny is I look at like Elon Musk said something to the most obvious answer is like the most ironic answer is the most obvious answer. I actually tend to like try to go for the obvious, not the obvious, but like I tend to go for like the ones that are kind of obvious, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, even with like stocks, like they have something called like the Magnificent Seven, and I think that's Google, Meta, Microsoft, and I own all those. Right. At the end of the day, I looked at Google and I'm like, if they were able to survive like this AI thing, and they have an AI department with like Gemini, and obviously Waymo is AI and robotics put together, like autonomous cars, right? And if they're killing it in that area, I think that they'll continue to evolve. And there's something called like the Lindy effect, where if a company lasts long enough, that it's more likely to last longer into the future, right? So I think that like that type of thing, whereas like back in the day, like you looked at the S&P, companies would stay in there for like 50 years. And then at some point they would get smashed and condensed down to 20 years. Stuff started like, you look at some of the stuff that was in there before, like Blockbuster's not there any longer. Things like that, like Sears, right? Like things that were like big ass companies that just got destroyed for whatever reason because a new technology came out or whatever, they didn't see it. So like, but I think Google's a smart enough company, and like some of these other ones like Microsoft, they actually call them, Ahad would probably know, but they call them like hyperscalers. These companies that are like building out the next era of infrastructure for AI. That's why like a lot of these chip companies are making so much money, because there's a shitload of money being built right now to handle this AI compute. But a lot of people also say that's a bubble, because like Google actually had like a really good report for earnings this week, or from their quarterly earnings, but their stock still dropped 7% because they basically said that our number for investments and CapEx is what they call it, is going to be even. They said it was one number, but they increased it so that they're basically spending a shitload of money on AI, and the market punished them for that. They didn't like it because the market doesn't like the fact that all these companies are spending inordinate amounts of money on AI and they don't know if it's ever going to be profitable. So there's this whole like narrative going on right now with that. But Google just literally like yesterday like raised their like the amount of money that they're going to spending for AI. So just goes to show you that like, there's clearly something there that like we're like it's being built out.
Yeah, I don't think that Google. I don't think that Google is going to be replaced by AI. Google is like Google is an entire infrastructure. You know what I mean? It's like Google is in so many, like they have so many different markets that they're in. Like, you look at like Google Maps or something like this. Then you look at something like Google Docs, right? Then you look at the fact that they have like Gemini, and then they got Google Meet. They got Gmail. Like, think about how many different kind of sectors they're in. I use every one of those almost in my daily life, right? Like, Google Maps when you want to go like find a certain location, right? Google Reviews, Gmail, Google Docs, right? Google Meet. I actually just canceled Zoom, by the way. I got sick of their I was on their annual plan, and I got like the bill, like, and it's like, and then just yet another $500 fee for the year.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fuck
fuck.
that.
I'm
Just
like,
use Google
fuck
Meet.
this,
Yeah.
man. I'm like, Zoom. I don't know if Zoom is really worth this, right? I'm like, I'm gonna switch to Google Meet, man, and I did. And yeah, like it has not been a problem at all. It's basically the same fucking thing. Um, oh, it's like, did I lose you guys? Are we still here? I don't know.
I can still hear you. Could you hear me? Oh, you could hear me. I think
Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
I can see you too. Yeah.
Substack frozen. That's weird.
My Wi-Fi is not that strong today, I will say. I don't know if you've noticed that, but yeah.
No, it seems to be
Yeah.
fine. The interesting thing is that
Okay.
Waymo is part of like Waymo goes under other investments for Google. It's not even broken out into its own thing, and I think that alone could be huge. I'm actually like Tesla's a little overpriced, but right now with that dip, I was like maybe I'd buy Tesla at like 320 or whatever it is right now. But I think that their next thing, it's not even their cars anymore. Their whole thing is like humanoid robots, like Optimus Prime. And I look at that and I'm like, they're pretty smart. These are like AI robotics companies, and like people like that's why I think they're being priced at that, is because like when they have like leaders like that, they're doing stuff that's like super big bets in the future.
Well, interesting thing is, I could probably do pretty well with stock investments, and it's because like,
I think this is naturally what you think.
Huh?
I think you're like me. You think contrarian, and you're like okay with like uncertainty, and like you're like okay like making bets.
Well, yeah, it's not just that though. It's like if you think about the future, right? Like, would you bet on like? Do you think that like Elon Musk is gonna? You think he's still gonna be around and running companies in 20 years? My bet would be probably yes.
If he dies somehow.
Do you think that like Tesla is going to be a bigger company in 20 years than it is right now? Like my guess is yes. And then the thing is, I'm not necessarily like the most pro like autonomous vehicles. The most pro like what's another one? The most pro AI, the most pro of all these technologies. But do I think that they're going to be around in the future? Do I think that they are going to grow? Yeah, I do think so. And yeah, because it's kind of just the way things have gone. Technology has grown. And it's interesting too, because in a post I did the other day there, I did make one thing pretty clear, and it's like I'll go to this post because what did I say? Yeah, so it was actually this, and it's good too because like a hot tier, right? So I basically the post was like I ran 3 of my posts through Pangram AI detector yesterday. I'd heard a buddy at Hot Mdini say that it was very accurate. The result I got back 100% human written, which was true. The middle part is about how I just took like some other guy's post. I'm like, yeah, this seems AI written or whatever, ran it through, and it was like AI written. And then I make some little like kind of jokey observation about like I said I would obviously need to look at a bigger sample size, but it seems this thing knows what it's doing. And the lesson here, that dude you think is probably writing his stuff entirely with AI with no substitutions or creative thought, he is. Okay. And I also in particular put no substitutions or creative thought because, and what I go on to say as well here is like, I'm acknowledging that there is a big difference between just going to ChatGPT or something and being like, write me a post about with like 5 LinkedIn tips or something versus actually like brainstorming an idea yourself and then like using like voice, transcribing your voice, talking about the subject, and then turning into something and then going through and editing a bit and Like this is a different process than, some of the slop that you see, where I can guarantee people are not taking the extra steps. So I say at the very end, important nuance. There is a difference between pure slop and something that was AI assisted. I do know some people who use AI to help them create content and they still produce a good end product. Because there's another type of creator on LinkedIn these days who has become like they're kind of like like a purist, like we've spoken about, to the point where they would even deny that somebody could use AI in any part of the process and come out the other side with a good end product. Like they're too far gone.
Okay.
Like just denying that AI has like any use cases, like you actually run the risk of actually coming across a little bit stupid, because it's like, have you ever played around with this stuff like at all? Because now at this point, you're kind of just talking shit and you've like never even like used it yourself, and you actually don't know that for a fact. Because the fact of the matter is these tools actually are pretty powerful. Some of the purists are a little too far gone, where they think that like if somebody used AI in any part of the process, that like their writing or their like end product is automatically going to be shit, which is not true. Like, I mean, even if you look at like a Hot here, for example, he uses AI to create his content, and like when you look at the end product, like it does not read as AI slop, right? So there you go. That's also why I put that at the end there, because like a part of me is almost kind of sick of that person, like that type of person who's too purist, where it's like I can tell, like, you're just holding on to this like I've never used AI stance. You don't even like probably know enough about it, and you also are trying to claim that just like if you touched AI in any part of the process that your stuff is automatically shit, which is like not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It kind of
So
reminds me of like DJs versus like music producers in some sort of way. I feel like you could still be like a DJ, like, and you help AI assist you at like creating your content. You still have your idea, say, right? But then like it helps you like kind of come up with other ideas, and then it's still your voice and your taste and your style coming through. That's like, okay, I'm going to tweak this and use this or whatever, and create, I don't know, like a mix or whatever. Whereas I think a producer, which is maybe like more like a purist writer, like they actually go in there and they play like the fucking guitar, the bass. They're in there like musically doing that. And I feel like maybe there is something like that where like, yeah, I agree that the person that completely produces music or completely like writes from their head and or whatever might be like, I guess, more interesting to some sort of degree. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like also just like curating and being like just having stuff that you're like editing, and it's still like your voice or whatever, but it's just helping you to get there faster without you having to like, crunch everything in your head.
yeah. And then there's also the producer who does play every instrument themselves. And, so first he records some bass track or something like this, right? Then he records some piano track over top. Then he records a guitar. And he puts it all in there, right? And he's got like his bridge, his chorus, his verse or something. But maybe he's got some technology that he uses, some like AI predictive technology or something like this, that he then like fires it in there, and it tells him like, it's a good track you've got here. You could try arranging it in this way, and you could have like some modulation that happens here or something like this, where he did record everything himself, right? I'm
Yeah.
kind of trying to describe the way I use
You have your
AI,
ideas
where it's
already,
like,
and
you do
ideas
like
to rearrange what
everything
you
yourself,
have.
and then you just like run it.
Maybe.
Yeah, you run it through, or like there's been times where I've written content this way. It's like a 9-minute voice clip into Claude, and then it's like, keep my exact words here, but arrange this into something that makes structural sense or whatever. And then like it's keeping my exact words, but then it's like it finds the hook and it's like, boom, move that to the top, boom. And it's like, then it does a pretty good job of finding the lead or whatever, and it finds the body and this and that. And then I come in again and I meticulously edit it again. And this is a way that you can also create content when you go for a 10-minute walk outside. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I like that. Are you still doing that? Like, are you just kind of going on walks and then like jotting down ideas as like you're getting inspired? I feel like that's the best way to write, because when I'm sitting there like and like I'm at the computer, I'm like, let me write something. Like I'm like, I don't know, I need to go out and live my life. And then like as these like epiphanies happen, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. Let me like riff on that. Like I don't know if you've seen this like this raccoon named Jimothy in Seattle. It became famous. It has like a weird back and it's like almost like a monkey, the way it looks. So I used that in some content the other day, which was funny. And I put like something like point of view, like the ring camera catches you as like you're doing your walk of shame or some shit like that. And someone wrote like, oh, like you hanging out in the trash cans eating pizza all weekend, like garbage. Like, and I was laughing because I think it's fun to do shit like that. Like, because I thought that raccoon was interesting, right? And then it's just like, all right, cool. Let's just talk shit about this and have fun with it or whatever. So I think that, I don't know, there's so many cool things happening around us.
I gotta find this raccoon.
You got to see Jimothy. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Like, he's so weird looking. And he became like super famous. I think there's like a meme coin on him already.
What the hell? Okay, so you described his back. His back is looking like a monkey or something, but he's like kind of like a little ball, really.
Yeah, he's like a little ball.
Okay, interesting. So what is this guy getting? Like this guy's getting spotted like constantly around the city or something, or what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I just heard of him like the other day, and like people like he's like got T-shirts of him, like a meme coin already. He's like famous. Yeah, it's like.
Jimothy.
So I put a picture of him and I just put like a caption. I just thought that was like funny, like, you know, just stupid shit like that where like you're just like living your life and you're like, all right, let's fuck around and have fun. But yeah, Jimothy is pretty cool.
You know what I find interesting about crypto right now is that like the thing about crypto right now that's interesting is like this is a bear market, right? Like
yeah.
Are we officially in a bear market?
Yeah, it's definitely a bear
I'm hearing I hear about crypto like a lot more for being in the red. Like sometimes what happens is I used to find this in the past is that crypto would be less spoken about when it was in the bear market. But now I think it's reached a level of adoption that even though it's in the bear market, you're hearing about it more, right? So that's kind of a good thing in terms of for the future of crypto. That adoption level. Yeah.
Well, let me see what
Jimothy. Where did you post this Jimothy thing?
It's on LinkedIn. But
that's on LinkedIn. Holy shit.
Bitcoin's market cap is $1.3 trillion. So if you look at, I think Google's 3 trillion. So it's a big fucking thing now. It's not like a small amount of money. 1.3 trillion has been in real money in that thing. So I think that it's no longer I don't know, after it's $1 trillion, it's no longer a very small entity.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting.
Oh, there's your Jimothy post. POV, you're doing the wonk of shame. Asked the neighbor's ring camera after a weekend that got away from you. Okay.
I thought that was funny, but I think it's just fun to fuck around. Like, I think that's what's so nice about like not having like a boss is that you could just kind of say whatever and like have fun. Because you've been an entrepreneur for a lot longer than I have, but like when I work for people, I was always worried about like getting fired or coming across a certain way. And like it just, I think that's what makes LinkedIn a lot easier is that you can actually like have fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, humor is a superpower on LinkedIn. I've noticed that. Part of the reason for that is that so many people on LinkedIn seem to not have a sense of humor.
Or they're just worried because they're going to get fired by their boss. Or they made the stupid assumption that there's loyalty in a job market.
I posted. Did you see my?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, the other day I posted this, like, I knew what this post was probably going to do. It, like, I had a feeling it was probably going to pop off, and it's what it was this like square thing I found with these 20 like did you do this like
It had Blockbuster in it,
a
right?
boombox? Have you ever played a record? Yeah, Blockbuster. Have you ever played a record on vinyl? Have you ever dialed a number on a rotary phone? Have you ever dialed up on internet? Have you ever used a floppy disk? Have you ever sent a fax? Have you ever sent a postcard? Right. And I went through the entire like list, and I'm like, yeah, like I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I've kind of done every single one of these. Right. Like, and I'm like, and then I looked at this thing, and at the very top, it was like, nobody has all 20. Nobody has all 20 or something like this. How many do you have? I'm like, oh God, this could actually pop off on LinkedIn, because clearly there's a large percentage of society over the age of even 35 or even 30, and maybe in some cases, who have done most of these things, right? But especially over around 35, you've probably have done most of these things, right? Sending a fax is pretty archaic. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I also
Mike, you there? Mike.
From this thing, because I don't want to be too associated with it. I want it to be more my commentary, like not like I made this fucking thing. Nobody has all 20, and I'm like, except for me, apparently, right? And then what I say, well, I was surprised I've actually done some of these, like, for example, sending a fax. Like, I swear I've maybe only done that like 1 or 2 times in my life or something like this. But I guess 39 years on this earth is enough to see a lot of technologies like come and go extinct or something like this, right? And this, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of like almost like boomer bait or something like this, because well, every boomer wants to tell you, yeah, boomer bait, yeah, that should be a new.
I think you just coined something.
Boomer bait. Maybe I'll write about. Earlier this week, I discovered a new genre on LinkedIn, boomer bait. Coin that fucking term. Jesus, trademark that shit. Drop a $499 course on boomer bait. But it honestly could be a strategy, because who's your ICP that you're trying to reach, right? Like, to some degree, for ghostwriting, I can tell you, I'm kind of looking to. I mean, I've worked with people anywhere from the age of like 20 years old, probably all the way to about maybe 60, 65, even maybe in some cases, honestly. But yeah, like that's kind of like most common, anywhere from like 20, because there are like young entrepreneurs who have really had success, all the way to like 60, 65. Christ, I'm sure you could work with somebody who's 70. I'm sure you could work with somebody who's 80. So yeah, but like, yeah, a post like that is going to expose you to a lot of boomers who want to also almost be like, there's the ones who just say, I've done all 20 and then some. And then there's the ones that it's like, this is clickbait. Obviously, anybody who's over the age of something has done all these. How dare you post this? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. You think?
Well, even Charlie Munger, the guy.
Dude, you're gonna tell a content marketer. You're gonna tell a content marketer like myself, who's been fucking doing this shit for 10 fucking years, what is clickbait? Thank you, bro. Oh my God. Thank you for educating me. I had no idea that this was clickbait. Oh my God. Thank you. Wow.
It's so funny, like how certain Warren Buffett's partner called Bitcoin rat poison squared. So I think it's funny how like that generation really hates crypto, the boomers, because they just don't understand anything that's like not within their wheelhouse or whatever. So it's really funny, like the different things depending on what generation you have.
Charlie Munger? Was it Charlie?
I think it's with the U.
Munger?
Munger. He's an old
Oh,
dude.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he died. Did he die?
He's dead, yeah. But he was a really successful investor, but he hated crypto. He literally was like, it's rat poison squared. I always think
they both were like that.
But yeah,
go ahead.
I think it's interesting though, like how like I think anytime someone comes in with something emotional like that, like rat poison squared, they probably don't understand it, right? Because if like you're emotional and you're attacking things with like names, you're not really like attacking something on a deep level. You're just name calling essentially, or they have an agenda.
Yeah, because Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, like, you know, those are like traditional like stock and commodity, and well, actually, really, when I think about Warren Buffett, from my understanding, I think he's a really more of a stock and shares type guy, like companies and that kind of thing, right? Like, I don't know how much he did in the whole commodity space. He also, I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett used to talk shit about silver and gold too, right? I don't think he was a big silver and gold guy, or at least that's what he claimed.
He did.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he didn't invest in the .com at all. He actually like
an agenda.
He completely ignored the .com, and like when tons of people were making money, but he was kind of smart to some sort of degree, because when it crashed, then he went and bought in. So like he didn't understand. He was famous because he didn't buy things he didn't understand. So like if he didn't understand like what crypto was, and like so like he couldn't, if he couldn't put like a value on it, because a lot of traditional stocks are like, what are the earnings? What did they say they're going to earn? Do they beat that goal or do they not? Like it was very like, you know, like very like numbers driven.
He's the type where he likes to look at a company's like financial statements and like different press releases and what their sort of like company plans are and projections and all that shit. Right. Where you kind of can't do that with certain things like crypto, because it's like very up in the air what could truly happen, right?
Yeah, the use cases are still playing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's even arguable too that some of the use cases where they try and big them up so much, like even something like Theta or like XRP or Solana or whatever, like where it has like a certain story and stuff, like how real is this? How tangible is this and stuff? So yeah, guys like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger would not be into that. They'd be like, it's all hearsay, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, I got a jams, but I'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, sweet, dude. That was a good one.
All right. Good seeing you. Peace. Later, Hot.